What's going on, everybody? It's Evil Eddie from Pure Evil MMA, and we just had one of the most exciting nights of UFC history. And I cannot believe how many fights I got right tonight. I hope that everybody listened. And if you've never seen this show before, I'm Evil Eddie from Pure Evil MMA and ProWrestlingAuthority.com. And I was live tweeting the whole event for everybody, so I hope you guys followed. If not, you guys can find me on Twitter at evil_echo. That's EVIL_ECCO. Let me know what you guys think about tonight's fight. I'm live right now on Twitter. I can get back to you whenever. And what an amazing night. And if you missed it, I'm going to give you a rundown on everything you missed on the pay-per-view card. But first, give a shout out to Steve from Cageside Submissions. And last night we went to Lion Fights 30 at Foxwoods Casino right here in Connecticut. And I had an amazing time. Sidelined by Cageside Submissions. Hooked me up with the PR. There's a picture of me and the new champ Assuncao, whose sister will be fighting Holly Holm at Fox 20. So had an amazing night, amazing event. Can't wait for the next one. The main event kind of got shut down pretty soon because it was supposed to go 5 rounds. Only went 3, and still the champ. So it was an amazing night, amazing event. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about UFC 200 and an amazing night we had. First 3 fights ended by first round TKOs, and it just started getting out of control. And then Sage Northcutt versus Enrique Marin. And I didn't know what to expect for this. Sage was coming off that big loss against Brian Barberena. And tonight we really seen him improve a lot on that ground game. He, at one point in that fight, Marin had him in an armbar, and it really looked like Sage's arm was about to snap in half. And he weathered the storm. I thought he broke his arm, but I guess he didn't. And he made it through that round. And he was showing an incredible improvement and ended up winning that fight. So congratulations, Sage Northcutt. And for you guys who don't know who I am, I'm Evil Eddie from Pure Evil MMA. And you can find my UFC picks on Twitter at evil_echo. Shout out to everybody. Actually, it's right here on Twitter. And make sure you guys follow the podcast that's on iTunes and podbean.com. I give everybody weekly updates on everything MMA. I interview fighters. I talk with Combat Sports Nation. I do a show every Wednesday night with Ted Check. And we have a blast. We do the Dana White quote game. We're joined by Angie Jabs. And fighters, we just had Eddie Mercado from Bloody Elbow on. It's a game where we sit, we all get together, and Angie Jabs finds quotes of Dana White or UFC fighter, and we got to guess whether it's Dana White or UFC fighter. Ted won last week. It was an amazing event. We do the show every Wednesday at 10 p.m., so make sure you guys tune in. We do the live chat room, always getting back, taking everybody's questions. If you guys have any questions right now, make sure you shoot them at me, and let me know what you guys thought about tonight's fights, because it was a wild night. For sure. The pressure, the excitement, the crowd, it almost blew my speakers. I had an amazing night. So after that, after Sage Northcutt won in the decision, TJ Dillashaw got his rematch against Rafael Assuncao. And TJ was looking amazing. So hopefully he can get that rematch with Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz, of course, returned after being out for so long and got that belt back. And it was close fight. However, I definitely think Dominic won. But tonight, TJ really showed the world that he's on point. He's got the speed. He beat the one man, or not the one man, but one of the men who have beat him in the past. Other people who beat him is Dodson and Cruz. After that, it was Johnny Hendricks versus Gastelum. And that was a really hard fight to watch. I didn't really know what to expect with Johnny Hendricks. And watching the last couple of fights, we watched him get stopped by Stephen Thompson in the first round. We've never seen that happen before. So I didn't know what to really think. I wasn't really knowing what to expect. And I put 2 and 2 together. I really broke this fight down and took my time on this. Came down to the age difference. Kelvin Gastelum, 24 years old, and Hendricks was I think he's close to 40 now. If I'm wrong, definitely correct me. But it came down to that, and Gastelum was quicker, faster. I mean, those are 2 same things. He just showed better game plan executed. Hendricks in the first round wasn't really throwing the punches, and he got into his corner, and they were like, you really got to start striking first. He started listening in the second round, came out real strong, and wasn't able to hold that. So I don't know what was going on, but this was a big fight and a deciding point in both their careers. And Johnny Hendricks, after the fight, was saying that he's done fighting in Las Vegas. So I'm not sure what happened, but he said he's done fighting in Las Vegas. I don't know if that means he's done fighting or what that really means. Maybe it was the reaction of the crowd. I don't know, but he's having a tough time in there. And, he just had surgery. Anyways, Kelvin Gastelum comes out with the win. That made me 1-2 out of the first 5 fights, I got 4 correct. Very first fight, Joe Miller versus Takanori Gomi. Then Gegard Mousasi versus Santos. I got both those right. Then the next fight, Joe Lauzon versus Diego Sanchez. That ended in the first round. That was an amazing fight. It ended quick. We've never seen Diego Sanchez stopped in the first round. Of course, we all know he won the first season Ultimate Fighter, the Nightmare, and Joe Lauzon, who's been on the receiving end and the giving end of the highlight reel. It was an exciting fight, and he definitely deserved another one. I'm pretty sure he got one of the Performance of the Night bonuses. So congratulations. That was on Fight Pass. If you guys missed it, check out the highlights because they're absolutely amazing. No one's ever stopped Diego Sanchez like that. And I think Diego found a new nightmare. So Joe Lauzon gets the W. After that, it was Sage Northcutt who weathered the storm and won in decision against Enrique Marin. After that, TJ Assuncao. TJ won it. Amazing fight. Then Johnny Hendricks versus Kelvin Gastelum. Gastelum got it. So now I got you guys all caught up. What happened next? Cat Zingano versus Juliana Pena. I really was excited, and I know you guys are definitely excited about the return of Cat Zingano. She last fought Ronda Rousey in that fight that ended very quick, and after that, her life kind of fell apart. She had to regather herself. She seemed ready to come back. We were all excited about her return. She had a great first round, but right after the first round, Juliana gets her on the ground, stuffs her, smothers her, executed an amazing game plan, won the second and the third round. Cat Zingano was trying to get back up to her feet, however, most of the time spent on her back. Congratulations, Juliana. After that, so I got that one wrong. So out of 6 fights, I was 4 for 6 on the night. Let me know what you guys were, how your picks went. You can follow me on Twitter at evil_echo. That's EVIL_ECCO. Text me right now, shoot me Twitter. I'm always doing live updates. I'm trying to get to live events all around New England. Over here on the East Coast right now. My website that I write for, ProWrestling30.com. Check that out. I keep everybody updated on everything going on in MMA world that's outside of the UFC as well, because there's a lot of talent out there, and a lot of people deserve to, have that platform, and we really try to bring that to you. So between me being at ProWrestling30.com and Pure Evil MMA here, the podcast, and Steve from Cage Side Submissions, and Sean from Combat Sports Nation, and Ted Check, we got you pretty much covered on everything you need to know. So make sure you follow me on Twitter. We're all working as a good group, trying to get all of you guys all the news in MMA, get a good outlet, some new ideas, clash heads on some ideas, and make this fun for everybody, because there's not many good MMA shows out there. So definitely subscribe below, give us a like, let us know what you think. If you have any segment ideas, let us know. Alright guys, so that brings us to the main card of the night. But first, let's look back at this historic week of UFC Fight Week. Before UFC 200, we had RDA versus Eddie Alvarez, the Underground King, who now we can call the new king. Congratulations to Eddie Alvarez. I was going against him, however, I knew that he was going to have a good chance if RDA was going to bring out the dog in him, and that's exactly what happened. In the first round, it was a dog fight. RDA did not do well going toe-to-toe with Eddie Alvarez. Congratulations, Eddie Alvarez, on becoming the new champion in that division. We're all excited to see what you have in store for us next. The following night, I was at Lion Fights 30. However, I had these fights streaming live as well, so I was still on top of that and giving you guys live updates from Foxwoods Casino. I could not believe this. This was an instant classic. Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Claudia Gadelha 2, and Joanna wins it. Staying champ, really just soaring through that division. Who do you want to see her fight next? It's very sad. I got really attached to Claudia. I know that a lot of you guys did during this season Ultimate Fighter. So that brings us to the next season Ultimate Fighter, which is already set up. We already know about it. It's going to be the flyweight men's division, and they're going to be training for a title shot to beat DJ. That's right, Mighty Mouse. And honestly, he's beat everyone in that division, and now he's having guys train. The guys who have lost against him are training young people to beat him. So I don't know how to feel about this, but I've always watched Ultimate Fighter, and this is going to be a great season. I'll let you guys know exactly what day that starts. This season was amazing, though. Amanda Bobby Cooper, Tatiana Suarez in the finals at Ultimate Fighter last night. I talked to Amanda Bobby Cooper and wished her good luck before the fights. We were going back and forth, and I'm hopefully going to be able to interview her within the next couple of weeks. I'm going to give her a couple days, maybe a week, to let all this emotions die down. I'll end up sending her another message, check in with her, see how she's doing, and see within a couple of weeks if we can get her on the show to talk about what her next moves are. She definitely stood out on the Ultimate Fighter Season 23, and definitely Tatiana Suarez, very impressive wins. So very excited to see what happens with her next. Let me know what you guys think, what stood out to you, if you watched it or not, and if you're excited for the next season of Ultimate Fighter. Let's get into this main card, guys. Cain Velasquez versus Travis Browne ends in the very first round. Cain Velasquez, we had no idea what to expect, coming back after losing his belt, having back surgery, then getting injured and having to pull out of the fight with Verdum. Verdum ends up losing the belt to Stipe. So Stipe's out there, and now Cain comes back and dominates Travis Browne in the very first round. TKO, knockout, whatever you want to call it. It was over, done with, finished. Cain looked absolutely amazing. And that was definitely one of the talk of the night. One of the highlights for sure. And you guys can check out the post-fight presser on YouTube. I'll post it on my Twitter page. Like I said, guys, if you don't have Twitter, you should totally make one, because if you're an MMA fan, that's where everything is going down. Constant news updates, everyone talking with one another, mixing ideas, thoughts, opinions, predictions. We're covering every last event that you guys can manage, and it's an exciting time to be an MMA fan. And as Ted would say, it's a great day to be an MMA fan. So make sure you guys check out my weekly show with Ted Check every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Now that Ultimate Fighter is off, you have nothing to do on Wednesday nights. Come over, live chat. We do MMA trivia games. It's a great time every Wednesday night, 10 p.m. right here on Pure Evil MMA TV on YouTube. So make sure you check that out. Subscribe down below. Follow me on Twitter at evil_echo. Let me know what you think. Let's get into the main card. Cain wins. All right. After that, Jose Aldo versus Frankie Edgar 2. We were all waiting for this fight. Were you expecting what happened? Were you expecting Jose Aldo to go in there looking like he did? He really brought it back. He was looking absolutely amazing in there. He showed up. He was looking confident. But Frankie was pouring on the pressure. He really was. Frankie did a great job and executed a great game plan. However, he just couldn't catch Jose. Jose was on the outside. We really didn't see him execute the leg game. Not many kicks, but he did connect on some knees and a few kicks that definitely hurt Edgar. And Edgar was striking, but he wasn't getting significant strikes that were really affecting Jose. And Jose really wasn't respecting that. And we were all blown away by Edgar's last performance with Chad Mendes, knocking Chad Mendes out in the first round. If we go back to last year's International Fight Week, we were all excited. Frankie's sharp, looking amazing. Him and his gym over there, Mark Henry, we were all excited. I was going for Jose on this one. I knew that Jose really had, this on his back. His loss was Conor. He really wanted to redeem himself. We watched this man just be an absolute killer and one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the UFC and in MMA. All time, definitely. And the only featherweight champion the UFC's ever had up until the fight with Conor McGregor. So now Jose seals it. He will be getting the rematch with Conor McGregor. And a lot of things have changed this week. A lot of new fights to talk about, guys. A lot of news to be discussed. A lot of opinions now. This whole fight game has changed now. The rankings will all be updated tomorrow morning. So make sure you guys tune back in tomorrow. I will be live I will be posting what time exactly on my Facebook page, so subscribe. We just made a like page. We're on Twitter. You guys can see the tags everywhere. I keep repeating myself. I'm Evil Eddie from Pure Evil MMA and ProWrestling30.com. I will be live tomorrow afternoon or morning for your morning cup of Joe and UFC to talk MMA, to talk UFC 200 and this wild week that we had. I will try to bring on Sean Gilday from Combat Sports Nation or maybe Ted Check. I don't know. Maybe I'll see if a fighter can come on. Who knows? We've been landing a lot of interviews. People have been excited to come on the show. We're having a great time. We had interviewed Monica Franco from Hawaii. We just had Gary Jackson on. I just interviewed Ray Seffel from World Series of Fighting. Jason High from World Series of Fighting. Justin Gaethje from World Series of Fighting. The list goes on and on. Alan Jabban I talked to on Cage Side Submissions about his fight the other night at UFC Fight Night, RDA versus Eddie Alvarez. And congratulations on your win, Alan. That was an amazing fight, and I'm excited to see what comes next. All right, Jose Aldo came out in that first round. He was looking good, but Edgar definitely sealed that second round, and it was getting close. Jose Aldo just stayed on top, kept the distance, executed a great game plan, and it came down to that last round, and Jose just bloodied Frankie Edgar up. Let me know what you guys think about this, how you saw the fight. Jose Aldo getting the interim belt, but also sealing his fight with Conor McGregor, who was watching right there, cage side, right after the fight, right after Jose found out that he won. He looked at Conor, smiled, pointed, "I'm coming," or said something along those lines. So it's coming, guys, and it's going to be one heck of a fight. Everything that I've been wishing for is coming true now. I wanted Jose to redeem himself of that 13-second knockout, beat Frankie Edgar, show everyone that he still is dangerous. He's still at the top of game. He's still only 28, almost 29 years old. Maybe he's 29, but he's still a young fighter, but an old fighter at the same time because he's been fighting for so long. But he's still got game, and he's definitely got heart, and he wants his belt. He wants to retire a champion. He's got the country of Brazil behind him. I'm excited. It's coming true. I would love to see him go up against Conor. I'm a huge Conor fan. However, I've been a Jose Aldo fan for years. I want to see Jose go in there and get Conor, take the belt back, and win. So who knows what's going to happen in that Nate fight. They just had the presser. You can check that out on YouTube. Let me know what you guys think. Are you excited for this or what? The featherweight division has never been more exciting, and it is a great time to be an MMA fan. Definitely, Ted. All right, so after that, Silva versus DC. I don't really know what to think about this. Honestly, I could say that. Did I throw you off? Did I scare you? Nah, I'm just kidding. I have so much respect for these two fighters for fighting and staying on this card for the celebration of our sport. This card wouldn't be the same without people like DC and Anderson Silva on it. We all wanted Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey, but what it came down to was the legends that needed to be on the card. We all wanted Anderson Silva, and we all knew that he deserved to be on this card. He took the fight on 48 hours notice. He literally came just to come for the Fan Expo. He was literally coming just to sign autographs at the Fan Expo. And then all this happened right after the press conference of UFC 200. We find out that John Bones Jones was dirty in his A and B test example, or fight urine. So he got pulled from the card. Everyone went mad. Dana was banging his head into a wall. We didn't know what to expect. We thought that DC was out of it completely. What do you know? Anderson Silva steps out 40 hours notice. He just had gallbladder surgery, so keep that in mind before you sit in the peanut gallery and make those boos and give us your dirty opinions on this fight. Because DC executed a great game plan. He took out a legend who stepped up for everybody, for us, the fans, the people who love the sport, in celebration for the UFC and how far this company has come in the past since 1996, 1994, 1996. And since UFC 100, so much has changed. This is the new American sport. And not even that. This is the new world sport. This sport goes worldwide, bringing countries together, making peace between people, coming together on fighters and talking. And this is a great sport. This is an amazing sport for the human race. And it's been going on for thousands of years, back to the gladiators. This is no different. except, there are rules and regulations, and, we don't let people die in the ring. But they go in there and they shed blood for our entertainment, really. That is what is going on still to this day. Some people might not like it, but we crave it. We all love that. We all love living vicariously through them. And as an athlete myself, out of every sport I've ever watched, MMA is definitely the number one live sporting event I have ever been to or have ever watched. Every fight is like a Super Bowl. Every event is like being at the end of the world event. It really is. You're always at the edge of your seat. The way they highlight and promote these fights now, they're really figuring it out. And this is such a young era of the sport, and we're learning so much and gaining a lot. So let me know what you guys think. After that fight, during that fight, I didn't even finish it. During that fight, DC versus Silva, unfortunately, Silva did lose, but Anderson Silva did show up, executed a great game plan. DC really wasn't able to lay that ground and pound on him like he wanted to because Anderson Silva was clinching that leg and holding him back, throwing off his momentum. The fight went all 3 rounds, but when they were on the feet, Silva really hurt DC a few times with some big kicks. DC knew he had to clinch the game. He did go toe-to-toe. That was for us guys. Both fighters really didn't have much to risk. I mean, DC, if he lost, it was to Anderson Silva on short notice. He was training for John Bones. This fight was for us guys, so hold back on your rude comments. And after this, it came to Brock Lesnar versus Mark Hunt. And I called Brock Lesnar to win this. You all said there was no way that was going to happen. Mark Hunt was going to knock him out in the first round. You guys didn't see how Brock Lesnar was going to win. Some of you said it was like the flip of a coin. That's what I said. I said my only argument here is that it's not going to be a landslide, that Brock Lesnar is a freak of nature. We might not ever get to see anybody or another athlete like this man ever again in MMA history. And for him to be on UFC 100 and now to celebrate MMA at UFC 200, what a blessing. We are so lucky to have Brock Lesnar come and show everyone tonight that he still got it. Almost 40 years old. He, on his 4th professional fight, became champion in the UFC 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago now, against Randy Couture, and has been on absolute tear. And if you didn't know this, the UFC had to make special gloves for him, 4XL. His fists are the size of lunchbox. He laid down a mean ground and pound tonight. It was hard to watch him pound Mark Hunt, who he got down, executed a great game plan, and looked amazing. He absolutely looked amazing. Fight went all 3 rounds. Lesnar gets the W. What did you guys think about this? A lot of you guys are saying it's boring. However, come on. This was a real amazing night for our sport. So many people were watching. It broke records. It was an amazing event. I thought it was an amazing event, at least. Let me know what you think on Twitter at evil_echo. That's EVIL_ECCO. Make sure you guys subscribe down below. Shout out to the Pure Evil Army. Shout out to Ann, Yusuf, Sean, everyone. Nick, Liesel, everyone. Kate, Rachel Blaze from Cage Side Submissions. The list goes on and on. You're all amazing. Make sure you guys subscribe below. Tune in for a weekly show, me and Ted Check. I keep everyone updated on everything going on in MMA right here on YouTube. Make sure you follow the podcast on iTunes. Just type Pro Wrestling Authority on iTunes, and you'll see Pure Evil MMA. Every week, new episodes, predictions, fighter interviews. We have a blast. I always have guests on. It's like hanging out with your friends. It really is. And I keep everybody update on everything going on in MMA. So for that morning ride to work, or wake up to drink your morning coffee, smoke your cigarette, or smoke whatever you're smoking, I'm not going to yell at you. Make sure you listen to Pure Evil MMA and stay on top of all your MMA news at ProWrestlingAuthority.com. Read the articles, the predictions from Ethan and Caitlin, who is now part of the MMA Authority at ProWrestlingAuthority.com. Make sure you check it out. We have a blast on the podcast. Let us know what you think. This is one of the biggest podcasts in MMA of the year, so I'm expecting a huge shout out by the end of the year. Maybe I could be top MMA correspondent by 2017. Who knows? Congratulations to Justin Camputaro at being hired by the UFC. somebody who grew up on my street in my neighborhood I grew up with. He is now the new editor for the UFC to do their videos, so congratulations. Hopefully he'll be able, once he gets his foot in the door, to maybe put my business card here and there. Who knows? Maybe the UFC already knows about me. Who knows? I'm really trying. I'm dedicated to the sport, trying to get you guys updated on every live event, keeping everyone at the edge of their seats and up to date on all MMA news all the time, every day, on Twitter, on Facebook, on iTunes, on Podbean, on YouTube. I got you covered. You only need to go to one place. You don't need to go to SureDog. You don't need to go anywhere else. ProWrestlingAuthority.com. We got you. Check it out. Let's get into the main event now. The new headline for the main event of UFC 200, I should say. Miesha Tate versus Amanda Nunes. Wow. We have a new champion, guys. Amanda went in there and dominated Miesha Cupcake. Made her face look like a cupcake. That was amazing. She really showed domination in the ring. Went in there, executed an amazing game plan. Miesha was rocked. And literally, it just looked like she gave up. She got her nose busted wide open. She was losing a lot of blood. And then she just fell over. Amanda just got on top and executed her. Finished her. Executed her with a rear naked choke. That was the end of the fight. We have a new champion in the women's division. Dana White, after the fight, said, when Ronda Rousey decides that she wants to come back, whoever is champion at that time will be fighting Ronda Rousey. Also, Dana White asked Michael Bisping directly after UFC 200, Bisping, who do you want to fight? What does Bisping say? Dan Henderson. And you guys might be thinking right now, if you've never seen the show, I've explained this in the past to all my fans and my MMA family. We've all discussed this. The UFC rankings, if we look at it, Dan Henderson is ranked 13th. The official rankings, the actual stats, someone who actually put their time in to look at the stats of the all-time middleweight records. First place, Anderson Silva. Second place, Dan Henderson. He is now almost 45 years old. If there's any time for him to be in the fight game, to fight for the belt against the man that he fought at UFC 100 and knocked out, and especially since it's his logo of the H-bomb when he knocked out Bisping. He wanted the fight. Bisping said, I want Hendo. Dana White goes, Hendo it is. That's the fight. We're going to be making it in England, hopefully at the O2 Arena. So there you go, guys. Michael Bisping versus Dan Henderson. We've all been scratching our heads. We've all been freaking out about this, reading the Twitter wars between him, Chris Weidman, Anderson Silva calling him out, GSP calling him out. It was nuts. We finally got an answer. Michael Bisping will be fighting no other than Dan Henderson. So there you go. That is the fight for that division. Who do you guys got? Don't undermine Bisping. Do not count the count out. I told you guys this before in that Rockhold fight. We watched him beat the greatest of all time. Yeah, he might be getting older. He might not be as fast. But however, Anderson Silva is one of the best who has ever stepped foot in that octagon. And guys, Michael Bisping, 10 years of being in the UFC, from watching him all the way from Ultimate Fighter to beating Anderson Silva, to beating Luke Rockhold, knocking him out in the first round, and becoming the first champion ever over in England. Don't undermine that man. He's on a rampage right now, and he took that fight on short notice. So there you go, we have it. So now what? What's going to happen with GSP? Who's to fight GSP? We're going to talk about this and much more tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow morning. So make sure you guys follow, subscribe down below. Follow me on Twitter at evil_echo. That's EVIL_ECCO. I had an amazing night. Let me know what you think. I had one heck of a night here on the East Coast. I might have woken up a lot of my neighbors. My girlfriend's probably so mad at me, Angie Dabs. Make sure you guys tune in every Wednesday night for my show at TED Check. And I also do a weekly podcast on iTunes and Podbean.com. Check those out. I had an amazing night. I know you all did. So I'm going to let you guys go. I will talk to you all in the morning. Have a good night, guys. Evil Eddie from Pure Evil MMA, ProWrestlingAuthority.com. Have a good one, guys.